I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. Let's stay here for a lifetime underneath the moonlight, 'cause I don't want us to go. No, I don't want us to go. Yeah, you could be my lifeline, you could be my sunshine in a world so full of pain. Can you make it go away? It used to be so sad that love was lost, but now it's here to stay. Yeah, I used to be uncomfortable, but look at me today. Never thought I'd find someone like you, someone to show the way. But now I know you're the answer to my prayer. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I'm sorry for the burden, sorry I was hurting, but my scars are almost healed. Yeah, my scars are almost healed. Yeah, I'm feeling like a child now. Everything's alright now, and it's all because of you. You made the flower in me bloom. Used to be afraid of everything, but now there's no more fear. Yeah, I used to let nobody in and hide my face with tears. Always thought of you as someone who can love someone like me, but I was wrong. Baby, now I believe. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us.
Hey, 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 everybody, happy Monday. Hey, I have extra energy today. Do you guys have extra energy today? I'm excited. Hey, 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 hey. Oh. 3, 2, 1. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Danny Danae Show. I am Danielle Danea, aka Danny Danae, and I've got a lot to say. So let's get into it. Anthony Mackie tells the truth about Hollywood and masculinity. Let's talk about it. Before we talk about it, guys, I feel so weird without my lip gloss. I forgot my lip gloss in my other purse when I packed it on my way to my boyfriend's house. And I'm like, oh, it feels so weird because that's really like my only makeup I wear on the every day to day. I say every day to day, and I feel like a lot of people don't say that every day to day. It's usually just the day to day, I guess, but I say every day to day. But yeah, anyway, feels weird, but I look fine. with this. I just put Vaseline on my lips. It's fine, but again, it's just weird for me because I always have my lip gloss. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. You guys didn't ask for that, but I just had to throw that in there because I had to be me. But anyway, let's get into the topic. Okay, so Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie. Ooh. Goodness grief. I can't believe it. He revealed some truths, some uncomfortable truths for a lot of people. And I appreciate him doing this, But before I get into the story about, what he said and what he said it on, I want to tell you a little bit about Anthony Mackie if you don't already know. So Anthony Mackie is an African American. Just have to put that out there. It's a factor. It makes more of an impact on, what the things he said. So he's an African American actor who is 46 years old, and he's known. His highlights in his career was initially the movie 8 Mile with Lord, I just forgot his name for a second. Not, I was gonna say Macklemore, not Macklemore, Eminem. 8 Mile with, pardon me, guys. My mind went blank for a little bit there. Yes, 8 Mile, the movie, iconic movie with Eminem. He also did a movie called Notorious, featuring, he played Tupac, and it was a story about B.I.G., his story. So that, and then most recently, he did Captain America, literally in 2025, superhero, superstar, whatever. Big role, right? So Anthony Mackie is at the peak of his career, no question. A lot of people didn't know who he was. He even though those were big movies, 8 Mile and Notorious, he wasn't the main character. People would even argue that he didn't really do a good job as playing Tupac in Notorious. But anyway, like I said, he's at the peak of his career right now. Everybody knows him as Captain America. There's no doubting who this man is. This is a big deal. So it's interesting that 5 days ago, Anthony Mackie goes on this podcast called the Pivot Podcast. And it's not surprising that he went on this podcast. He's hot right now, and part of, being as big as you are, you do interviews, you go on podcasts, you put yourself out there even more. You want to get to know this person that they're, kind of being thrusted on, even though he's been in the spotlight for 20 some years. He said in this interview he's been in Hollywood for 20 some years. Like I said, this Captain America role, now he's like the main face, and this is a big role. So people are kind of just getting introduced to him, even though he's been in the game for 24 or 20 however many years. So it's not, so for me, it wasn't really him going out and speaking about this. It was the timing of it, what he said. And I'll break down and go through it in a little bit, but it's like, dang, he said a bunch of truth again. But it's kind of like the truth you reveal like after you haven't made it in Hollywood. It's like stuff you reveal about Hollywood later to try to justify why you didn't make it, and so it's kind of interesting that he's saying all this in his peak, because it's just like, no, you don't say this at your peak. You don't really reveal these truths, these kind of secrets to people who don't live in LA. I live in LA, so I knew a lot of this to be fact already. But to other people looking in on this, it's like, what? People who have high hopes and dreams imagine Hollywood to be one way. He kind of broke it down in a way that, could, hurt their visions a little bit. But anyway, that's just my perspective. That's why when I came across this, I was like, I got to talk about this. And when I came across this, I saw a little 1 minute to 2 minute little clips of this interview. But you guys know me. I was like, I got to research the whole video because, like I said, mainstream media and the media period likes to, just post little clips and not give the full context of what's being said to kind of misconstrue or make something, way bigger or less than what it is. And so I went and looked up the whole interview. So I found the podcast, and it turns out, the full video was an hour long, an hour and like 3 or 4 minutes. But what's interesting about these clips, uniquely, they actually got the gist of what he was saying. I watched, again, the whole hour clip, and mostly in the beginning and in between, he was just talking about how he grew up, special encounters he had with the celebs he met, like Eminem. He spoke about Eminem very highly. He spoke very highly about Eminem and other people he met when he was, in school. He went to Juilliard, all this other stuff. But like I said, the little clips that were posted really were the peak of the conversation, so to speak, in my point of view, what the real gist of the conversation was. So we're going to talk about that. And yeah, I think he made some valid points. I think he made really, really valid points. But again, I don't know if this is the right timing for him to be making these valid points, but I appreciate him making them regardless, because all you guys know, I love to hear the truth, and I love when people speak the truth, because a lot of people are scared to, and he wasn't. So let's go into what one of those points were. So initially, he makes the point, when you tell your kids to work hard enough, like make the right grades, make good grades, do the best you can in life, not steer from the path, so to speak. Do the things do all the things you're supposed to do, check off the list, da da da. We tell them, if they go down the right path in life, do all they're supposed to do, they're going to have success in life. And he basically said that's simply not the case. You could be, and especially in Hollywood, right? He's talking about making it in Hollywood. You could be the best actor, but this happens in life. I think he was really speaking generally, but he went from, his acting experience to this point. You could be the best actor. You could be the best runner. He labeled all these examples, the best in the room, but it takes someone else being like, I choose you. I point at you. You're the one I'm going to change your life. The other one's got to figure it out some other type of way. And that's so true. Everybody says success, they say it the other way around. They say success is earned, not given. And he was saying, no, success is given. It's handed to somebody. We see this with nepotism. We see this with, just the industry and period. There's always a mother in the modeling industry. I've seen there's always a mother involved, or aunt, or, somebody they grew up with that has connections. And since they have that connection, they chose them, even though they might not have the full potential of somebody else who is a complete stranger to them. They chose them because of that connection, of favoritism, so to, quote unquote, to speak. Or sometimes people just get lucky, right? It could be like a blind thing and be like, okay, I choose this person. Who is this person? You're coming with me. Everybody else gone. It's just like that, and it freaking sucks. It freaking sucks, but life is tough. It is. And like I said, so many people are told if you work hard enough, you'll get to where you want to be at. And it's like there's truth in that, but there's more truth to what he's saying, right? Because there's so many hardworking people out there. And they're still working hard at their job 40 years later. And someone told them that the success was going to come. If they put all their hard work into whatever it is they're pursuing, they would get that raise. They would get more money. And it just wasn't the case. Because if you ask any billionaire, they always say they worked smarter, not harder, not longer, just smarter. And the smart way is understanding this part of the game where someone has to choose you and figuring out how you can be chosen. Because even the billionaires, even the Jeff Bezoses and the Elon Musk, someone had to be like, they invested all this money into their product, but somebody had to be like, okay, we see this as a potential. We want to invest in this as well. Somebody else had to also choose them, even though they chose themselves initially to go after whatever path they wanted. Someone gave them a chance to thrive, and that's why they were successful. Someone handpicked them, crafted them into crafted them into what they saw themselves to be in the future, and molded them in a sense. And that's what they became. But the counterpoint is, a lot of people will hear that and be like, okay, so if success is given and it's not earned, like, why should I do all this hard work then? Then I should just, give up and not try. And it's like, no. Again, I'm a big believer in two things can be true at once, right? And there's some truth leading up to the other truth, right? So, because I've spoken on my podcast all the time. I'm saying, I didn't make it as a super successful supermodel, or not a supermodel, because again, I don't believe that's a proper term. That term died back in the early 2000s, or really the 90s, when, they called all those supermodels Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista. Those were the supermodels. You can't be a supermodel nowadays. Anyway, big time model. The only reason I wasn't a big time model was because it was my own fault. I didn't put in the work. I didn't lose the weight. I didn't handle myself in a way that made people want to work with me. Yes, true. But also somebody had to choose me. But again, if I had done the work, understand this, guys, if I had done the work, it would have been more likely for someone to have chose me. So not doing any work at all just puts you in a even more messed up situation. Now you don't have to drive, and now you really are not going to get chosen, because there's always somebody that's willing to do something that you're not. That's something that's been said throughout all time that is proven to be true. There's always somebody that's going to work harder for what they want, what you want, and they're going to replace you like that. So yes, you still do the work regardless if you don't get chosen. If you don't get chosen, you pivot. But God, and people question like, okay, but what if the pivot doesn't work? God doesn't put you through or allow somebody to go through something over and over again, believe in God or not, universe, whatever. It's very much God, but whatever. God doesn't have you do your hardest, do your best without any rewards coming your way. Life doesn't work like that. It might not be the reward you want, but you'll definitely get some type of reward. I guarantee you. Hard work always pays off. Another big quote that is proven to be true. Again, it pays you, but maybe not in the way you see fit, but life is like that. Nobody gets what they thought they were going to get out of life. So don't be like, I'm just not going to try because I might not get chosen. I might not get what I want out of life. Nobody gets what they want out of life. Initially, it doesn't go the way they want to initially. You got to figure it out. So there's truth in what Anthony Mackie is saying here. You definitely have to have someone say yes to you. And if no one says yes to you, you got to figure it out. You got to pivot. And it's crazy that he went on the pivot. This podcast is called the Pivot Podcast. And he made a point of kind of pivoting. You got to figure it out. If someone doesn't choose you. But you still got to do the work, guys. We still encourage our kids to make good grades. But it's just not to the point where you got to hound them if they don't, or you got to send them to college, if they feel like they don't want to go now, to make them go. Like, no. Because if that person is really, if that child or whoever you're pushing to be greater, if they're really about being great, they're going to do the work that they need to do in order to be great. And someone's going to pick them. It's just not likely, like, people that know talent spot it immediately. Somebody spotted Michael Jackson and knew it right away. Even though all Jackson 5 were chosen, but somebody else was like, Michael is different. He's going to take off more. And somebody stepped into his life and he outshined the rest of them. He just did. Even though Janet is talented. All the other ones are talented clearly, but Michael just had that ick factor. Somebody noticed it at 5 years old, when Michael Jackson was 5 years old, and picked him. And sometimes the picking is accurate. Sometimes it's not. That's just how life is. And I think to his point, he was like, we got to understand that life is not fair sometimes, but we got to do our part. We got to be the best we can on our part. We got to do what we can, control the things we can control, and let God control the rest. And that is such a good point to make because, guys, 20 years old, I moved to Los Angeles, had stars in my eyes, thinking I was going to be chosen. Somebody was just going to see me because of all the hard work I put in Virginia, even though I didn't even put in that much hard work. But people were telling me I was so great. And, on the few jobs I got, I worked hard, but I definitely could have put myself out there better. I could have gotten better portfolio photos, all this other stuff. Could have put myself more out there in New York before I moved to Los Angeles. So, because I wanted to be more high fashion. It's clearly in New York more so than LA. So many things I could have done. And if someone had told me to have a solid understanding of what was actually going on in Hollywood and how you actually get chosen, and understand that it might not happen for me, I would have gone into it with a different perspective. But it's all good. I know it now. I'm 26. It's not too late for me. I have pivoted. I have this podcast, and who knows? Stardom from modeling might come later. Who knows? But I know doing this and putting in the work and bettering myself, my communication, and doing this podcast and bettering my mind, being around my boyfriend, learning from him, learning from experiences I have. I'm in acting now, learning how to speak to people, and feel things I've never felt before. I'm growing as an individual, learning so much about the world. And so when that time comes, I'll be prepared. That's another thing. You you gotta prepare yourself in order to be chosen. That's a part of the hard work. So not doing the hard work is not preparing yourself, and you're going to flop when the opportunity does present itself and you're not prepared. People think you can just turn it on when it comes to you. It's like, no. You got to study. You got to prepare yourself for that opportunity to come, because it's going to either pass you by or you're not going to be ready. You don't want either one of those to happen, especially in Hollywood, because you only get one chance typically. So many people out there, man. You only get one chance to wow people. And if you don't wow people, you're definitely not going to be chosen. So, such a valid point, guys. So strong. Then he proceeds to say, Anthony Mackie proceeds to say, if you don't make huge stars, you can pay them less. And he's speaking about these people who run Hollywood, right? So he's saying, like, if you're not freaking, who's a big star right now? Timothy Chalamet, right? Super, super, super big now. But in the initial phases, like you said, when he had the smaller roles in 8 Mile and then not the main role as Tupac, playing Tupac in Notorious B.I.G., he was like, he only got paid, less than a quarter, I think he said, than what Eminem got paid. Or even the guy who played Notorious B.I.G., I forget his name. He just recently spoke about something that I wanted to cover on, but I forgot his name just now. But anyway, when you're not as a household name, they can pay you less. So they give you the smaller roles. They, pay you way less in order to keep the money for them, in order to pay the people they deem as worthy of the higher payment. And that's something, again, him being black, which I said earlier, him being black really speaks on, because, you see all these celebrities, black celebrities specifically, talking about they don't get paid enough in Hollywood. And for me, I'm just like, if you're complaining, but you knew, to me, initially seeing it, I was like, you knew the pay you were getting before you took the project. So why are you mad? Get over it. If you really were upset about the pay at the time, you wouldn't have taken the job, right? But to Anthony Mackie's point of view, his point, really, it's like, well, if you're only getting offered a small paying role, what are you to do when you came here to act? And if you try to negotiate, they're like, no, you're not big enough, It can be hard, and I kind of get it from that perspective. I get it. Because they're not just doing that he made the point that they're not just doing that with black actors, they're doing it with a lot of actors. You see them one day, and then you don't. He said initially, he said, sometimes I see a complete nobody gain fame, and then I've seen somebody at the top also go down to nothing. Now they're doing like feature little Burger King commercials. And he kind of pivoted again. We're going to keep using this word pivoted. He went from pivoting that people can rise to fame and get it taken away from them in one breath. He pivoted into it saying that the reason for that is because, actors only have one trick up their sleeve. They only know how to act. They don't know how to do other things when it comes to, um, investing in another type of business or something like that. Maybe he was also talking about, a wider range of characters. He's talking about Michael B. Jordan being big at the time when he did the Black Panther movie. He no one has seen him since. He's about kind of just been in the background, attending a few events here and there, a few red carpets, and then dipping. And it's just like, oh, well, people know you as a superhero. People know you as Creed, the boxer, all these tough roles, evil roles, but you can't play the soft, loving father, or the guy who, lost a limb and doesn't know how to function in life without, with a disability, stuff like that. They don't have range. And when you don't have range, you kind of get typecasted for a specific role, and people kind of forget about you when they don't need you for that role anymore. They need something else, and you're not willing to change. So there's that. He was like, a lot of people come to Hollywood to be actors, but really they just want to be celebrities. And he's like, if you want to be a celebrity, a man out there date Kim Kardashian, right? It's crazy he mentioned Kim Kardashian because I just did a show last week speaking about Kim. But if you want to be a working actor, you got to work on your craft. You got to be able to be diverse and pivot if need be. Again, if someone doesn't choose you, you got to be able to pivot in a way that people still see you, and you have a craft that people, really admire and want to continue to see you. So again, very, very valid points, but again, very, very dangerous to say because he is at his peak right now, right? And if these people in Hollywood, he plays Captain America, strong warrior of a person, fighter, all that. But what if they need him to play now a loving father, like I mentioned, or somebody who lost a limb? Can he deliver the emotion it takes to, I just got into acting, guys, and I'm thinking, I'm like, now a whole new expert on emotions and body language and all this other stuff. I thought I just had it as an individual. Now I kind of just had it, going through life as an individual. Now when I'm getting into acting, I'm really paying to people's emotions and how, their eyes look when they say a certain scene and how their voice might tremble a little when they talk when in a really emotional scene. Is it to the point where it's believable or not? Like, I'm really paying attention. Can Mr. Captain America get to that character, that next character that they give you to? I remember in this conversation, he was like, I'm Captain America, now what? And it's like, whoa, son. Yes, you have a big role. Yes, people know you for this role. But like you just said, you've seen people go to the top and fall right down. You could easily be that person, that next person that is at the top and falls down where people forget about you. Because Anthony Mackie's in a very interesting position. Again, he was in a bunch of big movies that people remember. People love 8 Mile. I remember I watched that one time because I'm not really an Eminem fan, but a lot of people love that movie. That's like on the black card list of a movie you got to watch, right? So I was like, okay, I'll watch it one time. But people didn't know him. People don't know him for that. So he went from the unknown. He was talking about going from high to super low. He started as super low, right? Like most people, right? And then gained the fame later. So he knows what it's like to be super low. So again, shocking for me to hear he's kind of talking about the people who have the ability to either keep him up top or drop him down. In the sense where he's not really speaking bad about it, but it's just like, he's on the line. He's on a fine line of revealing truths that I feel like these people who run Hollywood don't want people to know quite yet. And now that, like I said, he has the recognition and fame that he does right now, more people are listening. Like, he could have said this when he did 8 Mile because people didn't know him like that. The stuff he's saying in this interview, people have been like, people wouldn't have heard it. It wouldn't have had an impact like it would have today. I saw clips of this interview posted everywhere, guys. I didn't have to go searching for it. I would have had to go searching for this interview if he did this back when he did 8 Mile. Even a person on the podcast, one of the guys that was also on the podcast said, not in 8 Mile, but in Notorious, where he played, when Anthony Mackie played Tupac, he said he didn't feel like he played that role very well. And he was like, granted, that's fair. And he was trying to credit to the fact that he was super young. He was entering the industry. No, he had to build his craft. There are young actors that just got it. You know, Dakota Fanning is one of them. My favorite child actors, because I believe every word she says. Amazing. Still great actress today. He didn't have that super young. He had to build his way up to Captain America. Or someone just picked him. I haven't seen him in this movie. I don't even remember him. I remember watching Notorious B.I.G. I don't remember his role, whether it was good or bad. I think that's very telling, because if it was really, really good, maybe I would have noticed. But anyway, you know, or somebody picked him. He's not even that good, because I feel like in Marvel movies, you don't really have to act that well. You just got to be tough. Again, I don't think someone like action and Marvel, like, I don't think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the greatest actor. He's really not. There was a movie called San Andreas that he was in, and he played a grieving father when he's about to lose his second daughter, right? To a big old hurricane, I think, that happened in the city. And his daughter's about to die. And the wife, the girl who played Dwayne Johnson, sorry, his wife was way more in character than he was as that grieving father. I didn't feel it from him. My dad felt the same way. We were watching it together. He was like, I don't feel that much from him. But he's the highest paying actor. I think he's one of, if not the main, he's the highest paid actor right now. Because he's chosen and people like the way he looks. But it's really because someone chose him and was like, yeah, you. So again, I feel like Anthony Mackie should be careful in his interviews. But again, I appreciate the truth. Then lastly, Anthony Mackie speaks about masculinity. He speaks on his children, specifically in the beginning. He talks about how he's raising his kids to take care of their mother, be respectful, open doors, do all that stuff, take care of the mother as well financially, not just be there physically. And I appreciated it so much because, again, masculinity is being destroyed, especially in the Black community. The white community is not having that. You know, the fathers are around. They are for their kids 100%, but it seems more so in the Black community that masculinity is being attacked on, and I won't say we are. I have to say we're losing the war on this attack. But we're coming back hard with having conversations like this and acknowledging that fact. You know, he says specifically in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. He says America, but it's really for Black men. I think, you know, it doesn't affect other races that it affects, definitely, but the most race I feel like it affects is the Black race. Our ethnicity is the Black one, okay? It really is. He says they. He says they a lot. I noticed in the interview, he says they. And he's like, ooh, who? He's smart enough to not say who they really is, but we all know who he's talking about when he says they. He says they have killed masculinity in homes and communities. And he was like, no, I'm going to raise my kids to be men. And, you know, this is not a thing that's going to happen. He's like saying he's like, fame doesn't mean anything when someone breaks into your house. It's like, it doesn't matter how much fame I have, how much money I have. Is my son, am I going to be able to protect the people I care about most? That's what matters to him. And that's what should matter to every man in any community, in any household. You know, it's so true. And it's not just Hollywood. It's people who run the government, which I feel like they're peas in a pod. But, you know, he's revealing truths that, you know, we kind of know subconsciously. A lot of people know subconsciously in their head that is true, but, you know, avoid the conversation. I appreciate that he had the conversation because it needs to be had. And again, these people don't want us to have this conversation because when you can control the man, you can control everything. Because the men are the ones that are solid in decision. Men are the ones protecting and fighting for our countries. Men are the strong ones, emotionally mature ones, most of them. The few masculine men we have left that we need to protect and multiply. And he's like, I'm going to multiply that through my kids and through their kids and so on and so forth. That's what we need. But Hollywood was like, no, we don't want masculine people around. We want men wearing dresses on the red carpet. We want men wearing dresses in their characters. We want Medea. We want these type of characters so we can make them, like women. Put them in a dress, and now we got them emotional. So now we can control how they view things and see things and get them riled up about things they shouldn't be riled up about instead of fighting for things they believe in. Get the focus elsewhere. Focus on their feelings and how they feel. Make them feel good. Give them drugs to make them feel even more good so we can gain even more control over them. Anthony Mackie understands all that. And I appreciate him sharing this, but I'm scared for him at the same time. I'm like, you're saying a lot of truths, man, but I don't want you to fall from sharing these truths. There's a way to speak a truth without stepping on people's toes. And I don't know if he did that or not. Maybe he's in the clear. I have no idea. I don't know who these people are that he's working for specifically. I just know they exist. These people that write the checks, people that make the decisions, people that are the choosers. So again, hard truths and truths that, like I said, these Hollywood elitists know that they want to, they're the main cause for this attack. And they don't want people attacking them now that they're aware of this attack going on, that they're doing on us. So I appreciate Anthony Mackie for speaking up. And I've watched him. My boyfriend was talking about him the other day when there was a moment where Anthony Mackie went on Wendy Williams' show, and he was saying, my baby's gonna make me a sandwich. You gonna make daddy a sandwich? He says, make daddy a sandwich. And everybody in the crowd was like, what? And he was like, no. He was like, you expect me when there's a sound, an unexpected sound that happens late at night, you want me to go get up and check it out, right? And the crowd was like, right. Or Wendy Williams was like, right. And he was like, okay, then you make daddy a sandwich. And then people were laughing because when he broke it down like that, it was kind of like, yeah, okay, now that makes sense. That should have made sense from the jump. But people don't like to hear stuff that doesn't sound super gooey and super friendly initially. It's like you got to break it down to people because everybody's so emotional. Everybody's so in their feelings again, even men. And that's the goal, to make them emotional and not think rational so they can think rational for you and make the decisions for you rather than you make your own decisions. So they have control. And you no longer have control of yourself or your body. It's the Matrix, man. It's so real. So he's been doing this, and I applaud him. But again, back then when he was doing the Wendy Williams show, he wasn't Captain America. Now he's Captain America saying these things. Woo! But you're supposed to, I'm telling you, these elitists behind the scenes are thinking, and I'm like, no, you're supposed to lead by example with the lack of masculinity. You're supposed to be our person that we're able to control and not say these things and just get in line, be emotional, all these things. But he's being a man. He's standing for what he believes in. He's saying facts that Hollywood doesn't want people to hear, or doesn't want people to accept. And I mean, they can hear it all day, but the moment they start believing the things Anthony Mackie said, people are going to be like, start questioning things that they wouldn't normally question, or Hollywood would tell them not to question. So again, I appreciate Anthony. I really do. And I hope his career thrives, because this is the type of masculinity we need to see in our communities, especially our Black communities. So shout out to him, man. I can't wait to see you in the next role. Next movie, I am more inclined to watch it. Movies have been crappy in Hollywood lately. So crappy. You got the Disney flop with Snow White and all these other movies that are flops. And it's like, ugh. So your next movie, I hope it's a win. And I hope you continue sharing your truth. And I hope it doesn't tarnish, pardon me, I hope it doesn't taint your career. And we'll see what's next for you. Okay? I'm excited. Please be mindful. Please be mindful that they just say it. Don't get hit. You can't have another strong black man down. Can't. We need you. And we needed to hear this. And that's all I gotta say about that. All right, guys, please like this video. If you like this video, please comment always. I love to hear you guys' opinions. And subscribe if you haven't already, because you don't want to miss my show, guys. You don't want to miss my show. Hit the notification bell as well so you know when I'm going live. And I will see you guys on the next one. I love you. Have a fantastic Monday. All right, bye.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, no. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel. Tú tienes el piquete, de la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel. Tú tienes el piquete, de la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Amarte es mi maña, que lo que toca mi mano se daña. Pero amor es lo que dicen, como un color entre los grises. Yo nunca te fallé, tú no eres cualquiera. Tú eres la mujer, mi corazón anhela. Pasan por ahí todas esas poses que tú conoces gracias a mi mujer. Ni tu amigo, pero en vivo solo contigo disfruto el show, bebé. Alright, cita, dime pa' dónde vas, que yo te caigo donde sea. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel. Tú tienes el piquete, de la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel. Tú tienes el piquete, de la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Somos Adán y Eva, y estoy listo pa' tomar el castigo. Yeah, y todo lo prohibido y los pecados que tú y yo hemos cometido. Pasan por ahí todas esas poses que tú conoces gracias a mi mujer. Ni tu amigo, pero en vivo solo contigo disfruto el show, bebé. Alright, cita, dime pa' dónde vas, que yo te caigo donde sea. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel. Tú tienes el piquete, de la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel. Tú tienes el piquete, de la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami.